Here's a close UU match I had versus Pimplax from the Pokemon Prodigy chat. I lead out with Blastoise. He has his Ambipom. He goes for the fake out. I decide not to switch out to my Arbok. And decide to go straight for the Hydro Pump. And he switches out to GNC without going for the U-turn, which is kind of weird. Maybe didn't want to use the Life Orb recoil. I got a crit on it, but at the moment I thought it didn't matter, but it turns out it kind of did in the end. And I switched to my Cacturn as I use this Thunder Wave on the switch. Cacturn has a lot of attack, but at the moment I'm using it as like a defensive wall because it has good resistances. And he switches out as I go for the spikes. And I switch out to Arcanine. He switches out to Arcanine as I go to Entei. And he makes a great prediction and goes for the Toxic. I thought he would at least go for the Will-O-Wisp, but that was a very good move. I double switched to Mesprit because I know he's not going to want to switch in after he just Toxic me. So I go for the Reflect, I believe. Yes, I go for the Reflect. And now I go to Cacturn to take the fake out. And then, fearing the U-turn, I go to my Entei. And I made a really bad play here as he breaks my screens with Brick Break, which is another pretty good move by him. And instead of going for the rest this turn, as he double hits me, bringing me down pretty low, I decided to roar, thinking he would switch out to some things, and then I would get some damage from spikes and a pretty good switch in, but instead Feraligatr comes in, which is a really bad matchup for me. I'm just hoping he has some weird EV moveset that I would outspeed, but unfortunately for me, he's just a standard DD Feraligatr. And then I go to my Sceptile, and I predict a switch and decide to Leech Seed. And this Leech Seed is going to help me a little bit because it's going to allow me to go to Mesprit and heal off some damage that I took previous, because the only Pokemon on my team that has a recovery is Entei, and his recovery is Rest Talk, so I really need some recovery on my team. He goes for the Flamethrower, and my Mesprit takes that really well. It only does 9 damage net as he goes for the Toxic, and right here I set up Reflect, and then I decide to go for the Stealth Rocks this turn, I believe, if I hadn't already. I'm sorry, I don't really remember this that well. Yeah, I go for the Stealth Rocks as he switches his Ambipom in, and he takes entry hazard damage. And right here, this is where I go to my Arbok as he uses fake out. And Arbok takes that fake out really well, considering it's Technician and stab boosted. And he goes for a Brick Break. It's kind of annoying because I didn't really get to use it that much this battle. Then I go for the Earthquake to finish the Ambipom off, as I heal some leftovers damage. He goes to his Arcanine, and he takes a lot of damage from the entry hazards, even though it's only one layer of Stealth Rock and one layer of Spikes. That's still 37.5% damage because of his fire typing. And I go straight for the Earthquake, thinking I'm going to take it out in one hit, but unfortunately for me, he still lives with a good 20-30 HP, probably. And then he Will-O-Wisp me, and I'm thinking I can still take it out with another Earthquake. And nothing that surprised me is that I'm faster than it, which means it doesn't have any speed investment at all, as he goes for the Morning Sun. Right here I'm a little mad that Arbok isn't able to take it out, so I'm going to probably add in some more attack investment. It's just 252 HP and defense. I go for the Glare, hoping I can get some paralysis hacks later in the game, as he goes for the Flamethrower. And Burn is going to take me down to about a third of my health. I switch out and go to my Blastoise as he goes for the Flamethrower. And he gets a crit, does about 90 damage. And he's probably going to switch out. And I don't even predict the switch. I just go straight for the Hydro Pump. And because of the entry hazards, and my special attack Life Orbed, Hydro Pump does a lot of damage to Blissey because of I'm also in torrent range, and I decided to go for the Aqua Jet because it's a lot safer than the Hydro Pump. It might miss, and Blissey's defense is still awful, so I'm in torrent range, so I'll still be able to finish it off. It goes out to for Alligator, and I switch out to my Appa, predicting anything like Earthquake. He would be able to finish me off with anything, but he starts good for Dragon Dance, which is a pretty good move on his part, because he could take any move I do, and I would finish myself off with Life Orb Recoil. Goes for the Earthquake as I tried to go for Glare, paralyze him, and he goes for another Dragon Dance as I go for the Thunderbolt, and I'm hoping that it's going to be able to take out his Alligator, but unfortunately for me, it lives with like, I think he told me 8 HP. He heals leftovers, and I decided to switch out to my Cacturn because I know he's not going to use Ice Punch if it has Ice Punch, and it resists the 2 moves that it would probably do to Mesprit, Waterfall or Crunch. I was hoping for a Crunch because it wasn't Stab, but I still take the Waterfall pretty well, considering it's a +2 DD. And then I go for the priority Sucker Punch to finish it off. And I heal leftovers. He sends out his Hitmonlee, which is very, very good in UU. I go to Mesprit to take the Fake Out. Takes it decently. But the Poison, I'm not going to be able to stay in long. He switches out to Mismagius as I Thunderbolt. And fortunately for me, I get the Paralysis, and that was some pretty good hacks for me. It definitely mattered because my team is pretty slow, and making me able to hit the Mismagius before it hits me is going to be very crucial. It uses Shadow Ball, and I take that pretty well. Not as well as I had hoped, but pretty well. It's just Substitute, and I tried to Encore it, but I got paralyzed, and I'm thinking it's going to get Nasty Plot or something, and I used Encore, but it failed because he got paralyzed, and I decided to go for Sucker Punch because I know he's not going to stat up after he saw the Encore, and he decides to go for another Shadow Ball, and I think I Encored? I don't remember. And he switched it out for a Hitmonlee as I went for Encore, and obviously it's gonna fail if you switched out. I go for the Protect on the Fake Out, and I decided just to stay in and take whatever move he decides to hit on me. And that's gonna take out my Cacturn. Decided to switch out to my Sceptile, and I take that Sucker Punch really badly, but I'm still able to finish it off with Leaf Storm. And now I'm at -2 special attack against an Arcanine, and he takes quite a bit from entry hazards again. Right here I predict a Morning Sun or Will-O-Wisp or whatever, and I Leech Seed, but unfortunately for me it misses. So that's pretty bad for me. And I Leech Seed again because I know I'm gonna die the next turn, and he Flamethrowers me, and that's gonna finish me off. So I missed 2 Leech Seeds. The first one kind of mattered, but the second one, I just had to use the move. I used Hydro Pump while he goes for Morning Sun. I don't know if it was a misclick or thinking he's gonna live a Hydro Pump from Torrent, Life Orbed, Blastoise. But whatever. And it's definitely going to take him out in one hit. Maybe he thought Life Orb would finish me off. As he switches in his Mismagius, I decided to go for an Aqua Jet instead of a Hydro Pump. I'm pretty sure a Hydro Pump would have finished it off, but I didn't want to have the risk of it missing. And he gets fully paralyzed, so I go to Mesprit to finish it off with Thunderbolt. That's why the paralysis from the Thunderbolt kind of mattered, because without it I wouldn't have been able to finish it off with Thunderbolt because it would have outsped and Shadowbolt, and I don't know if it would have finished me off, but it would have done a significant amount of damage.